Hello student, how are you all? This is our second video on heredity and evolutions. Today I am going to explain evolution and evidences of evolutions. So first we will start with the definition of evolutions. What are the evolutions? Here is the definitions. Evolution is the gradual changes occurring in living organisms over a long durations. This is a very slow going process through which development of organisms is achieved. So it means evolution is the gradual changes which take a long period and a slow process of development of organisms. So we can give some examples like first there are unicellular, which will be changes in the multicellular organisms, and invertebrates changes vertebrates, then fishes, then reptiles, and then humans. So it is the chain of evolutions. Now next we will understand theory of evolutions. So what is the theory of evolutions? Here is some point. According to this theory, first living material is protoplasm, which is formed in the oceans. So which one is the first living material? So it is protoplasm, which is formed in the oceans. Next, gradually changes occurred in the unicellular organisms, from which large or more complex organisms were formed. So there were unicellular organisms which will changes in multicellular organisms. This is known as the theory of evolutions. It will take 300 crore years of time for evolutions, and changes and development in living organisms had been all around the multidimensional, and this led to evolution of different types of organisms. Hence this overall process is called as evolution, which is organizational. So this is the theory of evolutions, which means the changes which occur from unicellular to multicellular, invertebrates to vertebrates, are known as theory of evolutions. Our next point is evidences of evolutions. So how can we know that these changes are because of evolution? So here we will see some proof of evolutions. Evidences of evolution means proof of evolutions. So first one is morphological evidences. What are the morphological evidences? In animals, the structure of their face, the position of eyes, nose, and mouth in animals are similar, like cat, dog, wolf, and some other animals. The position of eyes and nose are in the V shape, which is known as morphological changes. The similarity in our features is known as morphological changes, because dog, cat, and some other animals have the same position of eyes and nose and mouth is similar. That's why we can say that they have the common ancestor. It is the morphological evidences of the evolution. Second one is anatomical evidences. So what are the anatomical and evidences? So here is the structure of bones and bony joints. The structure of our bones and bony joints are similar with some other animals, like flipper of whales. Here we can see in the diagram the flipper of whale, the foreleg of cat, and human hand, and the last one patagium of bat. These have same bones and bony joints in their body, so we can say that they have the same or common ancestor. It is our anatomical evidences. Next is vestigial organs. What are the vestigial organs? So first we will understand what are the vestigial organs. So those organs which are existing in our body but are useless. Those organs which are existed in our body but are useless for us, like ear pinna. The structure of our ear muscles or ear pinna is useless in our body. We have seen that ear pinna is useful in some other animals like cow. They have movement in their ear pinna, but we cannot move our ear. We can listen from our ear, but we cannot move our ear muscles. So ear pinna is useless for us. The second one is appendix. What is the appendix? The lower part of the tail of the large intestine is known as appendix, which is useless for us. But useful for ruminant. Ruminant is some other species. For ruminants, appendix is useful. The third one is tailbone or coccyx. What is the tailbone or coccyx? The last portion of the backbone. The last portion of backbone is known as coccyx, which is useful in monkeys because it will grow and convert in the tail. We have seen that monkeys have tail, but humans do not have tail, so it is useless for humans. Then wisdom teeth and some other organs, which are useful for some other animals, some other organisms, but are useless for us. Next point is paleontological evidences. What are these paleontological evidences? So, study of fossil is known as paleontology. Study of fossil is known as paleontology. Remnant and impression of animals and leaves which are preserved underground are known as fossils. The time passed since the death of plant or animal can be calculated by measuring the radioactivity of carbon 14 and ratio of the carbon 14 and carbon 12 is present in their body is known as carbon dating method. So there are some carbon in the body of animal and plants. Here is the radioactivity of carbon 14 and ratio of the carbon 12 and carbon 14 which is present in the human body is known as the carbon dating method. It is used to calculate the death of that animal and plants. Carbon dating method is developed by Willard Libby. This method is developed by Willard Libby. He has been awarded with Nobel Prize in 1960 for his invention. Okay. Next point is connecting link. What is the connecting link? Organisms has the characteristic of two different groups are known as connecting links. There are 3 examples of the connecting links and all these 3 are important for your exam purpose. So the first one is peripatus. What is peripatus? It is the connecting link between Annelida and Orthopoda. Peripatus is connecting link between Annelida and Orthopoda. The second one is duck-billed platypus. It lays eggs like reptile but shows relationship with mammals. So duck-billed platypus is connecting link between reptiles and mammals. The third one is lungfish. Lungfish performs respiration with lungs irrespective of being fish. These examples indicates that mammals are evolved from reptiles and amphibians from fishes. Okay, so these are the 3 examples of connecting links. The next one is embryological evidences. Okay, embryological evidences. So here are the 3 stages. In the very first stage we can see that all the embryos of different animals or different organisms in the initial stages looks similar. All the embryos of different organisms, different
different  different  organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms, different   different   organisms,
pre or initial stages, but in the second and third stages their similarity will be decreased gradually. We can see that their similarity decreases gradually. Similarity in the initial stages of all these species shows that these have the common ancestors. Okay, we can say that all these animals have the common ancestors. Our next point is Darwin's theory of evolutions. So here we will learn what is the Darwin's theory of evolution. According to Darwin's, those who are fittest can survive in the environment. Those who are fittest can be survive in the environment, and it is based on the natural selection. So first we will understand what is the natural selection. We can see in this diagram, here is some green beetles and some brown beetles. So in the first diagram we can see that there are some green beetles and some brown beetles, but ratio of there is different. The green beetles are more and red beetles are less. But here is a crow which eats only green beetle. So due to decrease in the green beetles, the ratio of red beetles increases in the second diagram. We can see that in the second diagram the numbers of green and brown beetles are similar. And then next stage, all the green beetles are dead. All the green beetles are dead by the crow, and there are only brown beetles. Why it is happen? Because in the tree, the stem of the tree is brown color, so crow can see only green color beetle, and the brown color beetles are match with the stem of the tree. So these are invisible or same with the color of the stem. So crow only see the green color beetle clearly, while brown color beetles are submerged in the color of stem. So it is known as the natural selections. Okay, this theory is known as natural selection, and according to Darwin, those who are fittest to the environment or those who are fittest to the natural selection are survive, and others will be die. Some of the main objections are, there are some objections of Darwin's theory. So we will understand that natural selection is not the only factor responsible for the evolution, because in Darwin's theory he says that natural selection is the only factor responsible for the evolution. So because of it is the main objections of the Darwin's theory. And the second one is, Darwin did not mention any explanation about useful and useless modifications, because how the color of green beetle changes into brown color, this is not clarified by the Darwin's theory. And the third one is, there is no explanation about slow changes and abrupt changes. How these changes will occur, it is slow changes or the abrupt changes, this is not clear by the Darwin. So these are the three main objections of his theory, which is given by some other scientists. So we will study about those some other scientists who have these kind of objection of Darwin's theory. So the name of the other scientist is Lamarck, is the scientist who gave the main objection of Darwin's theory. The full name of Lamarck is Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. Proposed that he has some different theory. He proposed that morphological changes occurring in living organisms are responsible for the evolution, and the reason behind those morphological changes is activities or laziness of that organisms. It means, according to him, the morphological changes occur in the some other species, like the height of giraffe, because giraffe want to eat the leaves of long trees, so he push his neck upside and the neck of the giraffe will extending. Some other examples are like the ironsmith have become very strong due to frequent hammering movement. Because of movement of hammering, the ironsmith have very strong arms. Wings of birds like ostrich and emu have become weak due to no use, because there is no use of wings of ostrich and emu, so their wings are weakened. It means those organs of our body which are useful, which are using in daily life, those will be strong, and those which are not used in the daily life will be weakened. This is the theory of Lamarckism. Here is one more example. The legs of birds like swan and duck have become useful for swimming due to living in water. Because they are swimming, so their legs will be strong. This is the theory of Lamarck. I will explain that what is the theory of Lamarckism. According to him, there is the morphological changes, like those organs which is used by us in daily life become strong, and those organs which is not used in our daily life will be weakened time to time. Okay, like we did not use our ear pinna, so it will be weakened, but we use our other organs, so they will be strong. So here is the 4 points. First one is evolution, second is evidences of evolution, then Darwin's theory of evolution, and Lamarckism. These are the 4 points which is explained in this video. If you still have some doubts, then you can ask in the comment box and I will explain those doubts in the next class. So today's lecture, thank you.